What's going on, our great people in all the lands? I'm your host, Nicholas Wilcox, alongside my guy, the one and only, favorite cuz in all the building, Johnny May.
Johnny, what
say
up?
what's up to the great people.
What up? Looks like we got some technical difficulties going on over here on the.
We're live, right?
No, we're live. We're live. It just looks
like
we're running into some other issues here. Maybe we can get them fixed on the page on Facebook. We'll see. We'll see if we can get that fixed. But I know. Tell me all about it, man. Yeah. No, happy NFL draft week. As we talk about all things NFL draft related, is been a crazy draft, to say the least. You know what I mean?
More like a witch hunt. But
yeah, to say the least. It's been crazy. But yeah, man, what up, man? What up? How's the week been for you?
It's been fine, man. Like, just honestly, like, it's been a long week in general. It's good to be back. Gonna be talking about NFL drafts. And honestly, I'm not sure what's going around, but it feels like I got something. I don't know what it is. You know, part of our segment will be help me understand. So that would be interesting. Help me understand what's going on. The Fantasy Football Show is here. NFL Draft Edition, talking about what's going on in the draft. Round 4 is beginning today, right around this time right now as we're going live. So we'll be looking to talk about a few picks that will happen if it's fantasy football related. But we're going to talk about the draft just in general. We're going to talk about some winners, some sliders still, some losers of the draft, some blunders, whatever have you, and then who's best available for upcoming for this day 3 situation. But again, look, help me understand, John. Help me understand the Shedeur Sanders slide. Now, I understand that Sanders may be somewhat a little underwhelming. People are talking about him too much, whatever have you, But come on, man. Like, seriously. We talked about it on the last show in particular, where we're talking about quarterbacks. Shedeur Sanders leads the FBS in completion percentage. I think it was like 75.8, something like that. Maybe even higher. But completion percentage rate led the FBS in that category. By a terrible offensive line of Colorado. You know, and granted, he hasn't played in big games, whatever have you? Is that the issue? Like, what? Tell me what it is. Help me understand what's going on in this situation. What are your thoughts?
I don't understand. I don't understand it on my end. I think Shedeur he's a competent quarterback. He understands how to play the position. I think, you could definitely have made the argument that Jackson Dart could have and should have been selected ahead of him. You could absolutely make that argument. I would have been okay if someone was like, hey, like, this is the case. This is the argument I would make. All right, that's fine. But like, when we get to a place, man, where Dylan Gabriel is being taken ahead of Shedeur Sanders, like we were just talking about before we came on, that's insanity. That's pure insanity. Right there. And then, you could say whatever you want to say about the guy. You can blame it on his swag. You can talk about, it's the fact of, his father being his coach. There's a lot of angles like you can take on it. But at the end of the day, like, this guy is absolutely one of the best 100 players in the game of college football. And for him to be sitting here in the 4th round waiting for a call is wild. It's wild to me. And even like for my team, the Steelers, I'm okay with the way that the draft is shaking out for them. However, like, you still have a large hole at quarterback. So maybe in the 4th round, maybe they finally, make that move. And if they are able to get him in the 4th round, then, I mean, that's great because, they were able to address the defensive line. They got a running back. All right, cool. Obviously, we know about the 2nd round pick with DK Metcalf, but like, there's a lot of other teams that I think that are in situations like with quarterback, like the Rams, I think is a team. Las Vegas, I know they just signed Geno Smith, but there's a lot of situations and scenarios where I feel like Shedeur Sanders could go and be a backup quarterback, or hell, even a 3rd quarterback, man. You know what I mean? So this is just one of the more epic, monumental slides I have ever seen. And yeah, I mean, I've been watching football probably since I was 11 years old, man. And I don't think I've ever seen, the only players that kind of come to mind are guys like Brady Quinn had a pretty big slide. I don't know if you remember, what was the guy's name? He was a defensive lineman. he was the SEC Player of the Year. He came out as one of the first openly gay players, and he ended up being there with the Rams later on. But I think
Michael Sam?
Yes, Michael Sam. Yeah. Man, this is crazy.
Yeah, he wound up being a 7th round pick.
Yeah. I mean, Maurice Claret.
He was projected to be like a 3rd round pick.
Yeah, like Maurice Claret's another name. The old Mike Williams with USC.
Well, we all know what happened to Maurice. Actually,
right. Yeah, but okay. It never panned out, but this is the vibe that I'm getting right now, man. And it's just it's wild.
If there was something hard evidence and clearly to tell you that you shouldn't be getting this guy on your teams, that'd be one thing, right? Like I said, we talked about before, if there was an injury history, right? That's usually something that more likely someone will slide down in general, right? We're talking about maybe a off the field type of issues type of guy. He's getting into trouble. He's got suspended before, or people have been talking bad character about a person, whatever have you. Those are usually the two things that scouts in the NFL or organizations in general look in terms of, all right, we're going to drop this guy down on our board a little bit more. Just help me understand, like I said, in general, NFL, why are we not getting this guy? I just didn't think he dropped out of day 2, in my opinion. Day 1, yeah, that's a little bit more tougher because half the league already has their quarterback situation pretty much locked up. And then if someone wasn't trained enough to get a person, then okay. But again, just help me understand the situation. It's very, like you said, I haven't seen it. But a quarterback, as far as touted as Sanders had been coming into this process, and he was basically 2 or 3 on most people's scouting boards, whatever have you. When we're talking about
Tim Tebow, bro. Tim Tebow was a 1st-round pick. You know what I mean?
It's just crazy. Yeah.
Brandon,
you look back.
Brandon Whedon, 28 years old, bro. 1st-round pick by the Cleveland Browns, bro.
That was wild, yo.
Yeah, this is where we're at right now. It's
it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. However, this might still be as crazy it might be right now. It could be a blessing in disguise for a guy like Shedeur, because although we had a lot of people have high expectations for him to potentially start for a franchise, this could be classic. Hey, all it takes is one smart organization right now. Hey, although we have our quarterback situation set up, who knows? We could get this guy now for half the cost that would have been a couple days ago. Yeah. Now it's day 3. All right, well, let's throw our hat in the ring. So where do you potentially see him getting landed with? We talked about the Steelers. I thought that'd be the betting odds right now is the Steelers. They are plus 350 to land him, 360 on some books. They have the pick at 123. The Jets, they say, are our next favorite, which is weird, but I can kind of see it.
Yeah,
plus 550.
I thought
at
maybe
110
that would have been one. I thought that maybe could have been a spot.
Maybe
I thought that could have been a spot last night for him.
Here's where things get interesting after that. Cowboys, in terms of betting odds, they're plus 600 to land him at number 149. That'd be very interesting of a drop. The next teams, the Raiders and the Rams. Raiders have the 108 pick, so that would be upcoming. I think they're same position they would be in the 1st round. So
yeah.
So where do you see any of those teams landing him, or is it more about does he go somewhere else? This is absolutely wild, yo. Talking about day 3, Shedeur Sanders.
No, I would say Pittsburgh, Dallas, and the Rams make the most sense to me. I think the Rams make a lot of sense, obviously, because Matt Stafford is on his last leg pretty much. I mean, he's probably got another 2 years left. And that's a great place for him to go with McVay. And we've talked about this before. What he does with quarterbacks and how he's able to make magic happen. And then the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, I believe he turns 32 next year. So to have somebody in the wings waiting, I think that's a really good situation. And those are really the places that make the most sense for me. Like I said, I thought the Jets last night, just because obviously you don't really know what you have in Justin Fields, but you don't know what you have with him. Obviously, it's a new regime, and it's a 2-year deal, I believe, for Justin Fields. Like I said, man, I think those places make the most sense to me, man.
We're getting things kicked off here. We'll talk about it, but it's Scatterbo's going to the Giants. Breaking news.
Yeah,
Scatterbo to the Giants. Very interesting.
Tootin just went to Jacksonville as well. So running backs, I think like you're going to start to see running backs come off the board now. There's still a lot of really good players left out there at the running back position. Some guys that like we talked about on our show that are still out there. So I think you're going to see some teams. That's another segment we have here, kind of in that same space. So look for running backs to start flying off the board here now in round 4. Still a lot of good value out there left at running back.
It sure is. So, hey man, like I don't know, man. Would I like Shedeur Sanders as a Jet? That'd be very interesting. It's kind of tempting, in my opinion. Now it's just like, now it's just tempting.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah. Here we go.
Your brother talked about shout out to Aaron. Talking about Mike Tomlin missed a real opportunity with Sanders. And Thompson's, Rudolph's. So y'all need help at the quarterback position.
Guaranteed.
It's just like, but it's always been like quarterbacks for Pittsburgh for whatever reason, or Tomlin, like unless it was Roethlisberger, like they've had a tough time the last several years, like maturing up a quarterback to get to new heights.
There's what team, like what, don't make me go on a rant. What team with a Hall of Fame quarterback in that space has been able to bounce back? Probably the team that's in the best situation that had that group. I miss being too. That had that group of quarterbacks was the Chargers, and the Chargers never won anything. Like they still ain't won nothing. So like you look at the Giants, they're still trying to figure out a quarterback situation with Eli Manning. Obviously the Steelers. The Packers have got it right, I guess, with Jordan Love, but they only had 1 ring. The Patriots are obviously still in that situation, but they're trying out a second-year quarterback in Drake May. So those quarterbacks that are of that cloth, man, the Denver Broncos, like that's another place. Like they had Peyton Manning. Shit, the Colts are still trying to get it figured out. They had one in Luck for 5 years. It is difficult to replace a Hall of Fame quarterback, and it's difficult to replace a Hall of Fame quarterback and still keep your team in a position to be able to compete every year. So, yeah. And here's the other thing too, like the Steelers and Shedeur's. The Steelers have missed so bad in the first round over the last like 6 or 7 years. They have missed grossly bad. You're talking about Terrell Edmonds, Artie Burns, Devin Bush.
Artie Burns wasn't that bad.
Artie Burns was awful. He was awful. He was terrible. He was terrible. So I think like it's one of those situations as a fan, you're kind of like, okay, well, I'm actually Kenny Pickett. I'm actually kind of glad that they didn't, So now
I'd seen that coming a mile away though.
I think most people did, but it was kind of like, all right, well, if he's just okay, like if he's okay, like he can get us there. But yeah, man, I'm done with my mild rant about the Steelers.
I'm done with my mild rant, he said. Look, man, it's just again, it's very interesting. I miss Ben. I'm sure you do.
Me too, man.
I'm sure you do. Gonna get into best available players for day 3. From a fantasy football perspective. Who would you say is some of the best players available right now? Again, round 4 is beginning right now. So again, some teams like you already talked about are already taking some shots when it comes to especially running back position, because now it's like, all right, like gonna get a guy on cheap eventually, maybe come in to be a split backfield type of guy, or maybe take over our backfield eventually. But yeah, Scam Gatwell going to the Giants was someone that was someone already I was thinking about in terms of someone landing him. So he's off the board. But yeah, best available players when it comes to the current draft situation right now. Go ahead.
No, you got it, man. Go ahead.
I was going to say that in terms of we had the Browns, sorry, not the Browns, the Jaguars and the Giants. I'm just trying to pull up the next couple of picks upcoming and then what makes sense.
No, No, there's still a ton of. I mean, there's still a ton of talent out there, man. You got my boy from UT, Dylan Sampson. You got him out there.
Jordan James.
You still got him. You still have Devin Neal, who's another guy that like I'm a big fan of, for sure. Like at the running back spot. One of the other guys, he must have went because I don't see him on here anymore. So I guess so. Ollie, did Ollie already go? He must have. Ollie Gordon from Oklahoma State.
I don't think he went yet.
Well, he's not showing up on the best available here, so that's interesting.
Didn't go yet?
Or he might already went. You got DJ Giddens from Kansas State. You got him there. Damian Martinez, he's still available at the running back spot. So definitely still some guys that are there at running back, and then some guys that I know. You and George, I think it was you with Jalen Royals.
He's still on the board.
He's still there.
Somehow, some way. New York Jets, go get him.
He's still there.
Go get him.
Isaiah Bond from Texas is still on the board.
That's a little surprising. But I can understand why.
Right. But I mean, there's still the wide receiver from Stanford. I don't even know how to say his name. Alec Amore. He's still there. And he was actually a guy that it looks like here, man. I mean, I'm on Pro Football Focus. He was rated as a 35th player overall, man. So like that's still a value depending on how you look at it. For whatever team it is that needs a wide receiver. So there's definitely still when you talk about the skill players, there's definitely still and then you still have Will Howard that's still available. There's definitely still 4 or 5 quarterbacks that could be long-term projects that could be pretty good, man. So
I agree with you on that. As far as running backs go, like Scatterbo now a Giant. Jordan James still out there. Rashard Smith is what I think the guy we were talking about in terms of who me and George like. I was like, oh yeah, he's right. He's still there. The interesting name would be, for me, that's not exactly still on the board, but someone that could get drafted was Trevor Etienne because of his brother playing and stuff like that, and him playing at Georgia, stuff like that. Damian Martinez still on the board, a little surprising for me there, just based on how much hype he got from him playing at Utah State to then being at Miami. But like you said, Giddens, Ollie Gordon's still out there.
Yeah, he's still out there. They just have him ranked way low here on this list, which is crazy. But
I don't know, but he's someone to definitely look out for.
Absolutely.
But I mean, those would be some of the names in general that we could potentially see good landing spots for. As far as maybe tight ends go, not as many left. But there was one in particular that I scouted for. Gladson from Syracuse is still out there. So I'm hoping that, the smart team picks him up, because I do think as long as Gunnar Helm is still out there. So as far as tight ends go, who may have decent profiles for fantasy football purposes, those are some guys that are still out there for day 3. So there's some decent gems out here left. Like I said, like you said, Jalen Royals, the guy I kept on pumping up. I do think he deserves to be in a good landing spot. Hopefully he gets there. Your Jets, go get him. But I'll get him. But yeah, those are some of the best available players for day 3. Biggest rookie winner so far.
Okay.
Biggest rookie winner so far. So currently in the draft, I would say, I guess you could say it's a win, you know what I'm saying, because everyone was expecting it for it to happen. But Genty with the Raiders, I think the most ideal spot for fantasy football purposes was that one. If he ended up being like Chicago, actually probably would have been a tightly little better spot, but there's still a loaded running back room still. But other than that, I mean, look, everyone expected him to be the Raiders. That's clearly obvious. The non-obvious one for me, is a little trickier, because I didn't expect him to be going to this team. But Hampton was an interesting winner, a low-key winner. Just because of, you got Najee's there now, but I do think if for fantasy football impact purposes, he could be one of those guys that later on, we get easily as a great value later on in drafts. and all of a sudden could be taking over some more of that backfield week by week, and then you just never know after that. Last person I'll say is Judkins was an interesting spot, top of round 2, because Judkins goes, and then 2 picks after, Henderson goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, look, that's a very interesting outlook when it comes to the running backs. Who do you think is the biggest rookie winner and why?
Well, ironically enough, a couple of my guys, I want to kind of go backwards. You were talking about Hampton. So obviously it made me do some research, even before this, was just, I got really interested about rookie running backs and like what they've done from like a production side of things. So my guy, Najee Harris, since 2020, is the only running back to go for over 300 fantasy points in his rookie season. So even with guys like Bijan,
all those checkdowns, baby.
Yeah. And even with guys, right. No, I know for sure. And even with guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Like Bijan Robinson was somebody. Bijan was being drafted around like running back 4 his rookie year. And he finished at running back 9. I think it's just one of those things. Like I think Ashton Jeanty, to your point, like as far as from like a volume perspective, is the best place he could go. I think one of the things that always happens is these guys, they kind of get bumped up as the drafts start to progress. Obviously, if you're in a dynasty draft, that's obviously a different ballgame. We're talking about Ashton Jeanty and Hampton as well. But I just thought that was a really interesting stat, like for me since 2000 with those guys, man, as far as like production. But like the biggest winner for me so far, I have a long term and I have a short term. I think RJ Harvey and Caleb Johnson short term. Those two are the big winners. Yeah, those two are the big winners for me. I think we talked about.
One was a little biased, isn't it?
One is, yeah, like one is. And it honestly would have been that way anyway, whoever the running back was that went to the Steelers, because I think Pittsburgh Steelers fans, they know that, and even fantasy managers know, the one availability question or the ability question for Jaylen Warren is not there. It's just him being available. That's the biggest option that he's got to, or opportunities that he's got to overcome, is just being on the football field and shaking this mantra of being a change of pace back. So I think we all knew going into the season that he was not going to be the guy that went in and, had 300 carries this year. So I think Caleb Johnson behind a Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line that's going to be much improved and continue to be improved, especially the way that they run the football. That I like that one for them for sure. And then RJ Harvey, we've talked about it all off season long. It's been out there broadcasted that Sean Payton is looking for his Alvin Kamara Joker guy, and I think he found him with RJ Harvey. So I feel really good about that. I know a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but there's some people that think Bo Nix can take a step back this year, but I think they're continuing to put pieces around him and continue to put an extremely solid defense around him. So I like that. We are on the same page as far as Omarion Hampton as far as being a long-term value for the Chargers. Najee Harris is on a 1-year deal with the Chargers, so it looks like they've already the writing is on the wall already as far as him being the guy next year, and I think he's going to be in an offense that runs the ball. He's going to have a really good quarterback. And Herbert, so I like that. And I'm with you, man. I thought the real winner right now was Judkins going to Cleveland, just because Jerome Ford, he was a fantasy darling for a little bit for us, but I think we've seen like him and Jaylen Warren, they remind me of the same kind of player. They're explosive. They can rip off big plays, but they're not guys that can really hold up over the course of the year. And Stefanski is a guy that he loves to run the ball. Last year was the first time for him that his offense was not in the top 14 or top 15, I believe, as far as rushing attempts and rushing yards. They ranked 28th, 29th, and 28th in all rushing categories. So I think with Judkins, no matter what, they're going to try to look to run the ball a little bit more, obviously game script depending. But I really like that situation for him, because it could be one of those situations where it's just a lot of volume for him moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the money with RJ Harvey. I do think that's a spot that, as far as Joker roles considered for Denver, you're hoping that he's someone that is a fantasy football gem that people are not on game about.
Yeah.
So,
right.
So I think that's a very nice call. To lastly put it, I think someone that's also like a winner. in particular. I mean, Caleb Johnson was the person I was going to talk about, so you took that away from me. But I knew you were going to talk about him anyway.
Yeah.
But again, a winner, that's someone that, could potentially see the field, now that he's in a position that, it's up for grabs. It's Dylan Gabriel. Listen,
crazy.
The college profile speaks for itself. I understand the measurables aren't up to snuff for whatever reason, whatever have you, but that stuff goes out the window once you're on the field and playing. Right. All this stuff in a couple months, it's nice to have, whatever, he has big hands. All that stuff usually goes out the window when it comes to boys, boys becoming men and then playing against men. So I do think, he's a rookie winner, but not the biggest rookie winner. We already talked about those. The one that's really interesting that really could be a winner, but I have no idea. It's two situations, by the way. So Tyler Warren being drafted by the Colts. I'm not sure if that's a rookie winner, but it really could be. It really could be. Yeah. But who's throwing the football?
Right. We love the talent, man. We hate. We love the talent, but the situation is questionable. Yeah.
Who's throwing the football? And then the other situation was, I didn't think he'd go to this team after all the receivers they have. Green Bay, Matthew Golden. I didn't know. I was like, what? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are we doing?
I think Golden has, Josh Jacobs talking about their need a real receiver and stuff. And like, hey, Green Bay must feel like Matthew Golden's a real receiver. They have not drafted a first-round receiver since Jalen Walker, 2002. Crazy, right?
That's wild.
I know.
That is wild. That is wild. They literally have a wide receiver room full of I don't want to mids. We all some people were on Jaden Reed, some people were on Christian Watson, me, some people were like, no, give me Romeo Dobbs. What do we do? Let's go draft two more wide receivers and make them that much more convoluted, right?
And Sevion Williams, he's someone that I'm gonna watch out for. I wouldn't say he's the biggest winner, but I'm definitely gonna look out for him. Just because of his skill set. People, draft process. A lot of people were, and I saw it on tape too. Remind me a little bit of Deebo Samuel. Loves that contact, loves catching, the yak yards, all that. So I mean that's an interesting situation just to look at in general for fantasy purposes. But again, we could find ourselves in the same situation. Oh, I want this person. Oh, I think this person could do it. Oh, no. I'll just grab Jordan Love and see what happens.
Man, I hate you. No, don't do that to me.
Oh my gosh. So who's your favorite running back rookie situation besides Caleb Johnson?
Like I said, Quinshon Judkins. I think Genty. I think that's a given, man. I'm not even.
Yeah, he's excluded for this conversation.
That's a given, man. If you tuning in to watch us talk about Ashton Genty be the favorite running back, man, we need to do better. We need to do better. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think like I said again, man. I love the Judkins pick for Cleveland. I loved whoever went there. The other one, Trayvon Henderson, in New England. I think it's not my favorite situation, but it's an interesting situation. And the reason why it's interesting to me is because Josh McDaniels is obviously now the OC there. Ramondre Stevenson is, it's 4 years. It's been 4 years for Mondre. And he has not quite cut the mustard when you look at it from a fantasy perspective. I think the last year McDaniels was there when he was there with Mac Jones. I think he might have had 58 or 60 something catches that season. So he's a viable option in the passing game. He just wasn't used in the passing game. But I think with Henderson, I think you have that now. You have somebody that can take it to the house. And I think McDaniels has obviously shown in the past that he can take guys in that third down role or in a third down role, guys like James White, Kevin Falk, just to name a few, and really get a lot of, a lot of volume out of them and a lot of production out of them. So I think it's a really interesting move on that part. I think he's a guy that I've been really excited about. I think I might have even had him marked as my number 2 guy when we did our fantasy running backs or running backs going into the draft process. So I think that's just a really, really interesting situation for me. He's somebody that I'll be looking at. But I thought it was really weird, man, how a lot of these situations, a lot of these running backs are essentially going and handcuffing people, or not even handcuffing, or not handcuffs. Yeah, they didn't pick him.
Man, they didn't pick him. They picked a receiver, but not him.
Not necessarily a handcuff situation, but guys that are going to be on the field and they're going to play, man. So, like I said, Judkins, the Ohio State boys for me. I like those situations that they got, man.
Yeah, I can understand it. I'm hoping Judkins a better pro than anybody showcased over the last 2 years because it's just, I don't know.
I wasn't big. Wasn't big on. I wasn't big on him, but like I think the situation is now. It's probably one of the ideal situations. For him, man, for sure. So,
yeah, but that is what it is. That is what it is. I would say my favorite running back situation is my guy. I had him, up there, Caleb Johnson. You know what I'm saying, for Steelers. I just like the pick. I like where he landed, and I think skill set wise fits right into what Tomlin wants to do alongside Jalen Warren. So that's a perfect spot. You got him at 83 as well. So I had to talk about not you.
No, it's all right. It's all right. That's all right.
But obviously, like I think a name that will be like popular when we talk about draft season is Hampton because he landed with the Chargers. Hampton's play style just complements Charger football right now with John Harbaugh underneath, coaching. So alongside that with Najee Harris, like I do think that's a 1-2 tandem that, it's not exactly an ambiguous backfield, but it's also a backfield that is somewhat trusted if that second person gets those touches. So I think for value, like this could be a situation where both of these guys are going to be talked about a good amount heading into, the coming months. So I think whoever might be talked about a little less, I want a little bit more in my draft profile. And we'll be getting to some of these drafts and whatnot and going in, hand in hand, what thinks this based on what happens in the coming months. But I do think that both of those guys will be someone that, we could get behind on. Tyler Schroth. Yep. QB3. I know. Really interesting hoof. I know. I would love to know your thoughts on that for sure because I didn't see that coming.
Nope.
I knew he had some talent. I knew he was getting some buzz late in the process, but when I watched the tape, I was like, okay, yeah. What's so special? I'll be honest. Like, what's so special? That's just where I stand on it. What's so special? Help me understand. Help me understand. Wish Caleb Johnson had a team with a better O-line. I mean, yes, I understand. I understand that, but it's still Steelers. I trust more of the process that they'll get the offensive line situated, and they'll still have an identity that will get touches for Caleb Johnson in this offense. Yeah. And Scatterbo is going to eat up into a lot of Tracy's carries. Yeah, that's what I'm a little worried about. It kind of turns into a muddled more situation now. But I was on Tyrone Tracy when it came to, getting him cheaply. But now heading into the season, and Scatterbo starts getting into, like we talked about, eating into more of the workload, it becomes a situation. Or with a giant situation. Sorry. For fantasy purposes. So, any thoughts on that? Oh, one more. Hooves gets Cousins was 27 when he had his first full season. Schroth will be 26 in September. Cousins is one of the league's highest paid players over a short career. He sure is, because all those damn 1-year deals. Those high max 1-year deals. Again, he just wasn't one of my guys that were like that high for me. But I could be wrong, of course. Everyone could be wrong. But I don't know. He landed with the Saints, right? Yeah.
So I was just making sure I'm pretty positive.
So he landed with the Saints. He landed with the Saints. Very early second round Saints.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. I mean, it just shows that maybe definitely something's going on with Carr more to be thought with that shoulder. So, hey, I don't know.
But I feel like it was kind of, there was a situation, where there were some people that were on Rattler, around draft time last year as far as startup dynasty stuff. Like he was somebody that showed, at one point. And in college, he was a very competent quarterback.
Yeah.
I think you're putting yourself, continuing to put yourself in these situations with these quarterbacks that don't have any head and shoulders talent above the other one. Like they're all the same guy. And who knows, man? Like maybe it ends up panning out for him. I just have a hard time seeing it in New Orleans. I think, obviously it's not the ideal situation right now. Yeah. There's definitely this quarterback class is going to be a very interesting quarterback class when we go back and we look at it 2-3 years from now. It's going to be very interesting to have conversations about for sure.
I think so.
And then Scatterbo and Tracy, never was a big Tracy guy to begin with. He had a couple of really good games, actually, notably against the Steelers.
Yeah.
Was one of his better games. Still, obviously, having a problem holding on to the football. I know he's got some explosive traits for sure. But again, subpar team with the Giants. And then, now you throw Russell Wilson into the mix, throw Jameis Winston into the mix. Obviously, Jackson Dart is a long-term play for these guys. So, he's somebody that, like, if you were able to get him on the wire last year, to Nick's point, or, one of your later picks, like, I think the value kind of help offset those things.
Yeah,
and now when you actually have to go back, when you have to go back into a draft now and actually draft this guy, in the upper half of a fantasy draft, makes it look scary hours for me for sure.
I like it. Scary hours for me.
Yeah.
That's something that Scatterbo wasn't necessarily a top 5 choice for me, just because of, he got some steam late, which is always nice. But I do think from a profile perspective, like he wasn't someone that was like initially I was like jumping for. But now he lands in a spot where that could be improved upon for me. And if there's rumbles about him getting more of those touches, which I think could definitely happen, this is something that, I think this is a situation definitely to monitor. I want to go back to Who's point, because I do agree with that. He does get, for his throwaways, and injuries, whatever have you. But the throwaway is the same thing. It's not the same. It should be more glorified because that's just critical thinking. Like if I have a quarterback that's, throwing away the football, it's because we're not seeing anything. And if he does force a situation, I don't want to throw an interception. That's just clear critical thinking there. So I don't understand why quarterbacks do get praised for taking sacks. The only reason why they do in a situation is the same thing as a throwaway. If they can't throw away the ball, it's like, okay, just to take the sack, because if you heave it or whatever, the defensive end comes behind you, tries to rip it, or fumble occurs, you throw an interception. A lot more situations that could be more negative than positive. And then going back to Hoove again, he was like, Carr was good for a little bit, but his downfall is throwing his receivers in bad situations. Stroud is much better fit for Kellen Moore, and the health receivers for the Saints. Don't sleep. I'm not technically sleeping. It was just more about I think the situation helps him out. I just think that, because there's other quarterbacks we thought would be drafted, like Sanders still on the board. It's very interesting, but he'll have his opportunity to at least showcase what he's got. So I'll keep my eye on it. Hopefully, for dynasty purposes, for people, pay attention to that for real. But we were talking about rookie running backs. Next, we are talking about the winner of the rookie pass catchers, receivers, or tight ends. Johnny, take the floor here.
I think a couple of guys for me that are winners. I think T-Mac is obviously a winner for for the Panthers. Like I think that's kind of an obvious situation. But
Shuck. Oh God. Oh, it's Shuck. Thanks. Jeez. Appreciate it. Yeah, right. Favre to favor.
Favre. Actually, man, we had a couple guys here. We can't. It's weird, man. We can't see like comments and stuff on Facebook here for some of the people that are on Facebook. But
boy,
yeah. But had some people just talking about how the Steelers are going to be running with Mason Rudolph, one of my boys in Florida, YBH. Appreciate that, man. That hopefully that doesn't happen. That'll make me kind of vomit. Our guy Ben, man, big fan of the show. Big fan of him. Patriots are the big winners here. I don't know, with T-Rex playing offensive tackle for you guys, that should be kind of interesting. But I do like the running back situation as we talked about. Then we have my guy Matt Hewitt down in Florida talking about why would you want to take why would any franchise take the Circus for a 4th round why would any franchise want to take that circus for a 4th round or later pick? I'm assuming he's talking about Shedeur would be would be my guess. And then also talking about Dylan Sampson, because I know he's a big UT fan, so we're both on the same page as far as Dylan Sampson being a guy that would hold some value for a team for sure with his skill set. But yes, Trey Harris, I dig that too. Who for sure, I dig that. Yeah, so like the winners for me, man, is the Iowa State receivers. those are the winners,
yeah,
bro.
What? Yeah, what yo? What in the world?
That was wild, man. But I love that though, because I think like we had talked about it. Both like those guys, they both pop on film. They both do, and I think they both pop.
Speaking of Trevor Etienne.
There goes Carolina with a loaded backfield now with friend of the program,
Man.
Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard, man, he ain't never gonna break out again.
And my boy Uncle Rico.
I gotta get a jersey signed for him or something. Man.
Man, I love it. But yeah, man, like I said, I think those are the real winners right there, man. Like I love that group. I love what they've got going on right now. That's just a really good situation now where you lost Steph Diggs. Obviously, you also lost. Why am I drawing a blank here? Blew his knee out. Oh God! On Christmas Day with the Chiefs. Jesus, the receiver. Tank Dell. Yeah. So obviously, like you lost those 2 players now, right? They get Christian Kirk for a 7th round pick. You got the Iowa State boys now. There, they draft a tackle. I like what they've got going on, and I said it, way early in the offseason. CJ Stroud bounce back season. Load up is happening.
Okay, I hear you. I gotta get some comments from the channel from Facebook because they apparently didn't get here. So going back, Ben Grant says the Patriots are the big winners. I don't know about all that, but they did get some solid offensive line help. They got Henderson. Remains to be seen how that will pan out. But as far as going back to the YouTube channel, Trey Harris.
Yes.
Trey Harris for the Chargers.
I like that too,
That's a solid landing spot. We were talking about him a little bit. He wasn't in our top 5, but he was someone in our underrated section. We talked about receivers 2 weeks back. D'Amico's cooking. He definitely is. He's a solid head coach.
Yeah,
I think back-to-back seasons going to the playoffs. That's a great sign.
Yeah.
Jack Beach for the Raiders. I wasn't as high on is it Beck or Beach?
Back. We'll go back. Okay.
Beck, Beach,
Jack B. You would just call him Jack B.
Jack B. He's another one. Yeah, I mean, he's a solid gift for the Raiders. Like I said, I wasn't as high on him, but this could be a spot where this could be interesting. Gonna draft a lot of Pat Bryant. That's very interesting too.
I could see how you could get there. I could see how you could get there.
He didn't. Yeah.
I don't love it, but I can see how you could get there, though. For sure.
It's Denver, so it's just be careful.
yeah, there's that part too. But Denver, again, I can see how I could get there. I can see how I could get there.
Just be careful. I will say for the winners, I would say for rookie pass catchers. I mean, if we're talking obvious, Travis Hunter. If we're hearing if he's gonna actually be, the Jaguars are gonna actually use him as a receiver. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All the people that already had their rookie dynasty drafts. I hope you got Travis Hunter on the cheap.
Yeah, and if you get to double down in that IDP world too, man. You know what I mean? Shit. So, why not throw him out there to return some punts and kicks too? Why not, man? You know what I mean?
I know. Tech McMillan. I'm not gonna call him the winner, but I will say he landed in the perfect spot.
Yes.
He didn't land in a spot that was going to be overcrowded. He landed in a perfect spot that the Carolina Panthers, use number 8 pick on him. They're going to use him, try to use him as that featured big body receiver that he should be. It's just, again, the questions from him coming out was the process of, did he want it as bad as everybody else or this, and the third? And we've seen big body receivers, burn us before. Mm-hmm. So It's just a lot to consider. That's why I didn't have him as highly on my board as some other people because of the physical and the intangible stuff like that. But remains to be seen how well that's going to be. I think in terms of receivers go, that would be that. I think tight ends are a little bit more intriguing. Like, I think if, like I said, the Colts, man, Tyler Warren is the clearly obvious winner, but the problem is that will he get the ball consistently enough? Like people were touting, like, is he the next Brock Bowers? And this. It's like, well, it depends on the landing spot. And I was hoping that he would land a little bit further down to Cincinnati, but that didn't happen.
That's blasphemous, right there. What's wrong with you? What's wrong? You're sick in the head. You are sick in the head, man.
Just a little bit.
Cincinnati.
I want to know what you thought about the Luther Burden pick to Chicago, though.
Like, I think there was a running theme this year in the draft of teams that, like, literally were drafting players very similar or replacing guys.
Duplicates?
I like it, and I understand. Like, I understand what Ben Johnson. Yeah, I understand what Ben Johnson, what he's trying to do. But like that was a little bit wild. I think the Ime Udoka that situation that's wild because we both love Jalen McMillan, bro. And Jalen McMillan was a lifesaver coming down the stretch last year.
Yeah.
So now you have 4 wide receivers and a tight end and Bucky Irving, and you still have Rachaad White. So I think there's definitely like a lot of those like really weird situations. Green Bay, very similar, the same thing. I don't hate it for Chicago. I think it's great what they're trying to do with Caleb Williams and just trying to surround him by as many weapons as possible. But man, that is wild, bro. That is it's like, again, it's good. It's good for Caleb Williams, like for sure. I think like that, obviously, in my mind, that helps him from a production standpoint. And I've been saying CJ Stroud is a guy that like, hey, I'm back in on this year. Caleb Williams is a guy that like I'm back in on as well this year. So like for me, I like it. I just give the guys many weapons, but just what an odd first 3 rounds when you start to look at like all of the skill players all the way across the board and where they were selected and where they went. So yeah, I think he's still gonna ball though, man. But geez, dude, that's wild.
Well, wherever Jalen Royals go, it's gonna be the winner. But it's understandable. We already knew coming into this class though that the receivers and these tight ends weren't as big of a class anyway. So it's some of like you were just talking about. I feel like a little deja vu-ish is going on with some of these teams and these receivers. Like they're kind of grabbing some of the same players that either already have or just a little bit of a difference with them. Like Green Bay, it's like Matthew Golden and Savion Williams. Like they're not the same player, but they're already fitting into some of the profiles you have in your roster. So hey, maybe they just are getting him some reassurance because we know Watson's not going to be back this year, so that's probably why. But hey, that's probably what it is. Worst draft day blunder so far is.
I mean, at this point, I think we've already beaten the horse, man. There's nothing else really to say. There's nothing else to say. I mean, it's been the hottest topic, literally, like for the last 3 days, anyway. Man, is Shedeur Sanders, man. Yeah, it is. It's there's nothing else for me to say, man.
We're almost halfway through 4th round. And he still hasn't been picked.
Yeah.
This is crazy, yo.
Yeah.
Like, what is that, yo? If Hoove is still here, I'd love to know I'd love to know what he's thinking. But, yo, that's crazy. I just don't understand it. I guess I would say on the board, who's been, outside of, who isn't on the board, when I look at blunder, it's more about usually it happens when it's usually outside of fantasy football purposes. We all want whoever's getting drafted as an offensive player for fantasy football to do wonderful. I do think that as much as I like Jackson Dart, I just don't love him getting picked in the first round. And it's a tail end of the first round, so yeah, everything's up for grabs or whatever. Go get your guy and stuff. But he's going to start this year. I don't see it. You got Russ and Jameson. Jameson was in there.
Yeah, but like,
so is he gonna start this year for fantasy football purposes?
But like the Giants, man, like they know they ain't gonna win nothing, man. The Giants they've been building up a defense, and like again, like Jackson Dart is a guy I think a lot of people pegged that like, hey, best case scenario, you could have a baller on your hand. Like you could have a baller on your hands, and then you obviously pair him with Malik Neighbors. Like that's a great situation for any quarterback to go to. Hell, Tommy Cutlets was even out there in the mix with it, man. You know what I mean? So
you never know, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those situations where, you know, if the Giants are if they are not hot trash and just trash, then they find themselves on the outside next year, not looking at a quarterback. Then hey, like you just kind of continue to keep building this thing. You give this guy, a couple of opportunities to see what you got, and if you suck, then guess what? You get to go back and you get to get another quarterback, man. I don't hate it for the Giants. They had to address quarterback at some point in time, and with the landslide that is now Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart would have been the next guy, in my opinion. He would have had to have been the next guy that the team would have had to have taken.
I guess the other person I have just like questions about. I'm not sure how big of a pro he'll be. And that is Kyle Williams of the Patriots. Like, he wasn't someone on my top 12s. So he's someone that was like, the film shows great speed on him and stuff and whatnot. And especially if he finds a way around his own. But I just don't know how big his ceiling's going to be for where he got versus some other guys that I've, picked out to be like, all right, maybe this guy could definitely be, a bigger comparison. So sometimes, hey, there's things that you see people fall through the cracks all the time. Jalen Royals. But it just remains to be seen like how that will go. For what New England wants to do in general anyway, not a very fancy football friendly spot anyway.
Oh, here we go. The Rams.
Pick is in?
Yeah, they just made a pick.
But it's what?
Give me a second here.
I thought I was a faster one here today.
No.
Barely not. Nope. Jarquez Hunter.
Yep.
Hunter from Auburn.
All right.
I've seen some game tape on him before, but it wasn't someone I was like, huh. All right. Very interesting. Devin Neal, Jordan James still on the board, and you go with him.
My guy, Devin Neal, man. It's my guy, man.
I don't get it. Another 5'10". Yo, McVay loves his 5'10" running backs, yo.
Yeah.
He loves his smaller running backs for whatever reason. I know he played at Auburn. No, he was, he did okay, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man.
No.
I guess, I don't know, man. I don't know. With some of these teams, man, we see one thing, they see another sometimes.
It's kind of hard to argue with McVay, though.
No, it is hard to argue, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Any other blunders before we move on?
No, I'm not a big there hasn't been just a blatant one that like I've just seen.
No.
I think obviously like we've talked about like the quarterback situation. We've talked about that. I don't think there's too many offensive guys that have went like out of pocket. So yeah, I'm cool, man.
Got it. Moving on. So the veteran winners so far through the draft. So veteran winners. I would say, first person that comes to mind, like literally is Stephon Diggs. Not only for the bag that he got, because we weren't expecting that. We were expecting a 1-year deal or whatever have you. This guy gets a multi-year deal.
Yeah,
coming off the torn ACL.
Nothing wrong with it. Money
just a little wild. Just a little wild. Just a tad bit wild. But I would say, yeah, that would be the person that I would probably say would be like a veteran winner. And that Stephon Diggs for the value, like his value it'll probably creep up a little bit. But if we get if his profile now, though, we should be okay for best ball drafts. For in season, like upcoming, like obviously I expect Stephon Diggs to probably start creeping. I think if I looked at it last, I think it was like 7th round ish, a little bit higher than Cooper Kupp, but not too much closer to him.
Yeah,
I say he gets to that 5th round situation when all set's done.
I mean, I could say. I mean, he's a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 for sure. Yeah. And if you think that Drake May is taking that next step, which, again, man, there's some guys that are just better offensive coordinators than they are head coach. Josh McDaniels falls into that category. Arthur Smith falls into that category. Dick LeBeau fell into that category. There's a lot of guys that are just better coordinators than they are head coaches. I think Mike McCarthy's in the same boat. I think he's a better offensive coordinator than he is a head coach. You know what I mean? So I'm cool with that because, again, Josh McDaniels has done it. I mean, if he was able to get magic out of Mac Jones, which Mac Jones actually in his rookie year made it to the playoffs. He made it to the playoffs.
He did.
You know what I mean? And probably the highlight of his career was the participation trophy that is now known as the Pro Bowl. He was there. So, I feel like Drake May, he can absolutely get that from Drake May. So, it's easy to see how you can be excited about that.
The other person I'd be excited about, I think this is the year I'll be a lot more focused on getting more, my capital on DJ Moore, Chicago. Really think that with them getting Luther Burden can open up a lot more things for them. And he doesn't have to always be the field stretcher down the field all the time or the straight burner for his offense.
Yeah.
I do think DJ Moore is definitely one of those receivers that are going to be still in the range of still getting some decent, respect. But I do think in some rooms there'll be some blatant disrespect for DJ Moore. And I do think he's one of those guys that, will have an opportunity to showcase once again that he could be in that higher echelon wide receiver 1 category when most people are still thinking he's a mid wide receiver 2.
Yeah. I guess that would be my cue for, guys that I think are the winners so far on draft day. And one of the winners for me this is going to sound wild, Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is a winner for me. Joe Mixon is a winner for me because Joe Mixon is, I believe he's now in his 8th year, 8th or 9th year coming up. He's a little bit longer in the tooth. He is. Yeah, he's a little bit longer in the tooth.
They didn't spend any crazy draft capital.
No, they didn't. Yeah. They didn't, man. And he's went for over 1,000 yards 3 out of the last 4 years for sure. Been diminished a little bit in the passing game. Questions about the Texans' offensive line. His yards per contact or yards before contact was down.
Especially they traded Laramie Tunsil to freaking Washington. I'm like, what the hell?
Right.
What did they do that for?
Yeah.
That's an interesting pick.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Gunnar Helm going to Titans. It's a very interesting pick. That's underrated. That's a very underrated draft pick, by the way.
No, it's good for the Titans for sure. But no, and then also too, man, Mixon kind of let you down in the back half of the year. The time when you really needed him the most, 10.6 points, 8.1, 5.9, running back 28. I mean, he was 28 last year, man. So I just feel like
Mixon's always one of those guys that you have for the first half of the year, and then you look to try to get rid of him because of that situation, because of that.
Yeah, but
he's always been that.
But he's a winner, though, because he's a 28-year-old running back, probably getting ready to play behind his worst offensive line. And again,
based on what you just said, is that really winning?
Well, right. Well, he's the winner because nobody they didn't address the running back position.
They didn't address it.
They didn't address
cause for more injury concern, though. I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't address it. So it's Joe Mixon himself is winning. He is winning. Another guy that won this week. Keep my fingers crossed. Is George Pickens. A lot of conversation about George Pickens being traded.
Oh God,
not being traded. So I think he's a winner. For sure. Yeah. And then I got a couple more guys.
I've seen this movie before.
No, Chase Brown. Chase Brown is another guy who's a winner.
Totally.
He's a winner because
totally.
The Bengals, they didn't bring anybody else in to address the running back position. So I think we can go ahead and proceed raising Chase Brown up draft boards. And another one, my last one, Jake Ferguson, tight end for the Cowboys. They have not addressed that situation with another pass catcher. So, and the Dallas Cowboy running backs, again, has not been a touchdown. But like again, they are winners, bro, because they
they're small winners.
But they have.
We're still dealing with a weird Cowboy running back.
You are dealing with the same Cowboy situation as you were last year when you drafted Rico Dowd. It's round 8, 9, 10, depending on where you play. They're one of the last running backs. You got it. All right, cool. So those are some of the guys I think that are winners for me, just because the positions haven't been addressed. So I would say, hey, instead of proceeding with caution with some of those names, I would say, hey, Jerry Jeudy's another guy too. I would say I think is a winner as well because they didn't do anything with Travis Hunter. So man, I think those are just a couple of names that really pop for me as far as winners.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll say about that Jerry Jeudy comment is that is Watson going to get an opportunity to?
No, he just no.
I don't know. Is it going to be Joe Flacco starting then? Yeah, Kenny Pickett there too. Your former guy.
Joe Flacco gives them a better chance for sure.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, that's wild, yo. Oh boy, oh boy. I don't know what to think about.
All right, here we go, baby. Here we go. We're on the clock. The Steelers are on the clock.
Well, can you finally take them?
Is it time, baby? Is it time?
Is it gonna do it live?
Is it time? Is it time? Man, God,
we're gonna finally get this guy.
Let's just go ahead and do this and get out of the way, man. I mean, I'm trying to see what else would they do right here, man? There's
what other position would they get? Who knows?
Maybe they could go defensive back or something like that right there. But that's, man, if it don't happen here, man, good gracious of life, bro. Good gracious. Just looking around like a psychopath everywhere. My TV up here, my live stream on random picks, my live stream on Picks Young here.
Oh boy,
yeah. Who are your winners as far as veterans go though?
All right. So I spoke about him.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Diggs and DJ Moore.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I just got sucked up in the fact. This is me as a Steelers fan right now. I just completely lost track of everything that was going on right now.
Yeah, literally, funny.
Just lost track of it all. Oh, yeah. And if this doesn't happen, man, then yes, I'm gonna have to leave here.
I know, right? If you don't do it live, if you don't do it now while we're live,
man,
come on,
golly. Yeah, this is just real. Yeah, this is just real time shenanigans here, man.
It really is, though. This is so wild, though.
Pick 123. And then then the other thing, I guess I'll go ahead and get into that a little bit too. But I went, was just looking at some of the players that went in the third round and stuff, and who were some, Dak Prescott, obviously Brock Purdy, Steph Diggs, George Kittle, Max Crosby, excuse me, Ladarius Sneed, Amon-Ra. So it can happen. Puka, Bucky Irving. There's definitely some guys that you can definitely say, hey, they were really qualified for third, fourth, fifth round, sixth round, seventh round picks. Actually, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh round picks. So I'm not completely out, but man.
And the Steelers took a kicker.
I was about to say that is a lie because everything is refreshed, live, and ready to go. Refreshed, live, and ready to go. Oh, man.
I thought I got him.
Oh, no. They took an edge rusher, Jack Sawyer.
Oh, God.
They took an edge rusher, Jack Sawyer.
Another edge rusher to add to your treasure trove.
Wow, I don't even know what to say.
This is depressing. This is a little depressing now. It's honestly a little depressing.
Yeah, this is wild. Yeah. I know.
It's a little depressing.
Swansea just messaging me. It was like, oh my God. I'm like, I know, bro. This is wild.
I
don't even know what to say. But he loves his Ohio State players, so there's that.
Yeah, there's that. So the Packers, Chargers. So I guess the Browns could take him at 24 finally.
I don't. Obviously, we don't care about quarterbacks. We don't care.
No,
we don't care. This is starting to remind me of the transition of Neil O'Donnell into Cordell Stewart into Tommy Maddox, in this really, really dark place for Steeler fans. This is what it's starting to remind me of. And then we let the most competent, capable quarterback on the roster go play for the Jets because we don't want to pay him, because apparently we want the guy that team let go at age 41 who really doesn't even have an Achilles and is on hallucinogens all the time and has a bigger ego than Shedeur Sanders by a Mississippi mile. That's the guy we want to play quarterback for us. That makes so much sense. Bring him in the locker room with George Pickens. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Goodness. What could go wrong? Unbelievable. And I know we need to stop the run. I know that. I'm very well aware of that. I said that last year in the middle of the season with a $200
No, keep going.
They couldn't stop the run. You know, like we did a good job on Derrick Henry in Pittsburgh. Everybody was excited. I'm like, yeah, the guy got the ball like 11 times. Guaranteed the next time he play, he'll get the ball 11 times in the first quarter. What do you know? The next 2 times, they played, he just insanely rips us apart, man. Like, this is
baffling.
I get it, but I get it, but like, it's
all right. So
you know what they're doing? They're pulling a me from the Cookout League, just completely just avoiding quarterback is what they're doing. They're completely avoiding quarterback. That's what they're doing. Just avoiding.
Just avoiding. Oh my goodness. Like, imagine him just going to the 49ers.
The 49ers, the Rams, the Raiders.
Some crazy good team now, obviously. I'm saying, or at least someone team
there's going to be a team. Yeah,
it's going to happen now.
There's going to be one of those guys that's going to be like, you know what?
It's going to happen now.
I can fix them. And then we're going to be sitting here going,
no, you're not going to fix them. It's just that's great, too valuable.
Why? Why this slide? Why? And I seen like these random things like on like Twitter, and there was like, oh, like, the situation with the Colorado State quarterback. So he calls the guy out for talking trash on social media, and like, oh, now that's a problem. Okay, like, don't want that. All right, and then there was another situation where I think somebody had scored a touchdown, and there was a cameraman or a ball boy or something that was in the way, and he had said some things. It's just like, bro, what are we doing right now? Like, this is wild. This
sounds like a witch hunt.
This is absolutely insanity. Insanity. Yeah, it like now you're at a point, like you said, man, where like somebody is literally going to take this guy.
Yeah, and they're gonna and
he's going to be a development project, and he's not. There's going to be no pressure for him to play at all because he's going to land in an ideal situation.
There is.
Oh my God! Can you imagine if another quarterback had all of the same skills / working with Tom Brady, et cetera, et cetera? Can you imagine?
It's like, crazy,
dude, we had Matt Leinart go in the first round. We had Matt Leinart. We had Jake Locker, bro. Like,
God, yo, wow.
I'm not even like digging through stuff. This is just like things that just pop in my head. Somebody said Johnny Manziel was an alcoholic and he still went in the first round.
Didn't he go to the Titans that year? Who? Didn't they draft him?
Who, Matt Leinart?
Jake Locker.
Yeah, Jake Locker went play. Yeah, he was the Titans quarterback. I'm pretty sure he was a top 10 pick. Matt Leinart was the top 10
pretty sure Christian Ponder was a second round pick.
Christian Ponder was another guy, bro. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? This is wild to me. Wild.
It's kind of embarrassing, honestly. It's kind of
wild. Oh my
God.
Embarrassing. I can't even continue to rant about like I'm going to be sitting here and there's going to be just random quarterbacks that pop up in my head and I'm going to be like, yep, that happened. Yep, that happened.
Yep, that happened too.
Yeah, that happened. That definitely happened. Unbelievable, man. Anyway, Shedeur Sanders is still just like us without an NFL team.
Jeez, yo. Someone posted a meme about, Shedeur Sanders be working at McDonald's.
oh man, like they've been cooking.
They work right now.
No man, they've been cooking them. They hit him with the Fresh Prince one. Why don't you want me, man? Why don't you want me? I was like, come on, man. Like, I'm all for a good laugh. Definitely. Holy smokes, man. All right. I gotta stop.
It's baffling. Yeah. But we officially are going to be going into the Scott Fish Bowl 2025, the 15th year of Scott Fish Bowl. The official invite, the mock drafts upcoming soon. Johnny has got his official golden tickets Still waiting for mine. I should have mine hopefully within the coming week. We're gonna be in Boston, and whoever is around the area, that's gonna be, I think, July.
Yeah, July 20th or 22nd, I believe.
So it's like, well, for anyone who want to come out and showcase, come out and just be supportive of the cause, like, Fancy Cares, so scottfishbowls.com. You can check that out. FancyCares.com as well.
.org.
Great. Sorry, .org.
Yeah.
Everybody does a .com except for a few people, Got to do .org so you can stand out. But it's a great cause and great community every year, doing amazing things, giving great money away to organizations that need it. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a great time. And then obviously we'll have the Fancy Football Expo upcoming. Wait for that.
Let's go. Let's go. Already ready, man.
So can't wait for that. So we got some things upcoming. Again, like we're gonna be on and on here and there because it's the off season. Shoot, not completely off season usually, but
no, it's officially it's officially the season now, man.
I know, right? Did you do a best ball draft? I got a couple in.
yeah.
You gotta get your weight up, son.
That's it. Oh, hey, we got one more. We got another one here, man. My big cuz back home, man, talking about Shedeur. Who do you think will take him? Hell, at this point, man, who knows?
Anyone knows.
Who knows, man? I don't even have a beat on it, bro. Like I couldn't even. At this point, this is like, I'm going back. I can't even help it. Like, who? Like, I mean, you could really make an argument. Maybe like a team like Arizona maybe might get in the mix with. I think Kyler's on the last year of his contract. You could maybe Dallas. Like where's the Dallas Cowboys at when you need them? To come in and save the day. Like where's that? But I think that's the other problem too, man. It's like I don't think anybody wants that big of a presence in the locker room, and that's scary. But like.
It's the NFL, yo.
Yeah,
so what?
But again, they've carried. They've carried the Aaron
so
Rodgers
many other
ego
situations. Like, come on, yo.
Yeah,
like,
man. This is wild, dude. This is absolutely wild. Anthony Richardson was a first round pick. Let's just go ahead and keep going.
Yeah.
Like this is Trevor Lawrence right now. Trevor Lawrence is on the verge of maybe not being the guy. Like Mac Jones was a first round pick. Like, do I need to keep going? Mac Jones was a first round pick. Guys, you know what I mean? Malik Willis at this point
Christian
has been taken.
Hackenberg was a second round pick.
Christian Hackenberg. Like Mark Sanchez. Like, bro, this is what we doing out here. This is what we are doing. This is insanity. Oh, what's the homeboy? Oh my God, this is back in the day. Golly, man, he played for the Ravens, had a big arm, but was garbage, dude. Oh my, Kyle Bowler. There we go.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
man. Yeah, let me cook. Let me cook, man. Let me cook. This is wild, bro. Oh, wait. What's homeboy's name? That played for the Broncos.
Oh, Lord, yo.
Oh my God. Big guy. He ended up playing for the Texans for 1 year. He was the Broncos quarterback for a minute to replace. He was from Memphis. Oh God, what is his name?
Damn, I don't know now.
Oh no, yeah, you do. No, you will. No. Once the name pops, you'll be like, yeah, like I remember who exactly was. Now I'm gonna look him up now.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is bad,
this is
man.
Bad.
It's bad.
Well,
Paxton Lynch, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get a Niner. That's why.
Yeah, let me get in my bag.
I remember him
baby.
as a Niner. That's why.
Let me get in my bag. Trey Lance, if we go in there, Trey Lance. Like I know that's your man. Jury's still out on him. You just gonna leave me on there?
Just like Colin Kaepernick, but hey.
I'm just gonna keep throwing up like these old quarterbacks that like was drafted in the first round, and you trying to convince me that Shedeur Sanders. At first, it was cute, and now it's not anymore. Now, like I mean, this is. I don't even know what to say, man. I'm speechless.
I just.
Oh wait. Oh man, no, he wasn't. Golly, yeah, I'm done, man.
Man, it's so crazy. Yo. I don't know how to call it. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, who is your guy in the draft class? Who's going to be your guy? Who you like in terms of, after walking away the draft so far, you're like, all right, I could buy some more stock into this guy for fantasy football purposes. Who's your guy?
If you were talking redraft,
yeah, redraft.
God, I'm such a homer sometimes.
Yeah, you are. It's okay.
Yeah.
In this situation, I allow it.
Please, yeah. I like because it's hard to be like,
it's hard to get away from it.
It is. It's going to be incredibly hard to get away from that situation because they're going to need a guy to smash, and at this point, they don't have a quarterback. So, which again is like literally, I could feel myself having heart palpitations, getting so fired up right now because. Like you have a $125 million wide receiver and you got a freaking backup quarterback getting ready to throw him the ball, man. But like, yeah, so I think like that's definitely a place. Let's see here. Let's see. Do the Browns do it?
No, not yet.
They didn't.
Not yet.
Okay. But yeah, I think like that's a place that I really, really do enjoy. And then like I said, man, I love the Texans situation as far as the receivers there without the Iowa State guys. Oh, the Browns took Dylan Sampson. There we go. This is getting awesome now. This is getting awesome. Yeah. Well, Judkins was my favorite place to go to. Now it's not. You seen it happen live right here. Like it was my favorite place to get to, and now it's not. Now it's not.
I guess one of my favorite guys to follow, Warren Sharp, is talking about. He said the Steelers are still very confident that Aaron Rodgers going to go to Pittsburgh. That's probably why they haven't gone with England yet.
If he doesn't, then I give every Steeler fan the right to freaking go ham however they want to. But this is it's a mess, bro. And the only way that this is not a mess is if the Steelers end up winning a Super Bowl or in the AFC Championship. That's the only way it's not a mess. The only way.
Gotcha. I got, the guys I do have, they haven't been drafted yet. But
this is wild.
But in so far, up to this point of the draft, I like to say there's a few guys that I definitely have moved the needle for, and these were guys I didn't exactly have. They were like top, actually one of them was Marion Hampton has gone up the board for me now.
I love him.
Just because of his skill set now and he lands in a situation with the Chargers that it's going to be a balanced situation. It's going to be a spot where, people can still draft Najee Harris, but I still would want Hampton still in my profile because he's the type of guy I like to target when it comes from a draft profile. And I think that value-wise, he'll still be a guy that while everybody's talking about Najee Harris still, whatever have you, I think Hampton could still find himself in a situation where they spent a first-round draft capital on him for a reason. So it's just kind of rolling with those punches. In a draft in the first round, we probably thought that there was going to be at least 3 running backs. We saw 2. So, I mean, it is what it is. Hampton, as far as, I wouldn't say he's a notch and above everybody else because that's Genty, but he's someone in a spot where I'm thinking the public versus where you could probably get him is definitely an intriguing spot for me. And he is one of my guys in the draft in general now after it. Another spot, you talked about the Houston Texans receiver, Jaden Higgins now. He's a guy that, along with him and Nico, my
boys now, man.
Christian Kirk can play in pretty much the slot in this offense now, pretty much playing the old Stephon Diggs role. I think there's plenty of opportunity if Higgins gets up to speed right away, that Higgins could be one of those guys that we talk about week 9, week 10, week 11, and on.
Jalen McMillan,
one of those guys you want on your rosters and stashed.
Yeah.
So he's one of those guys I think because obviously Tank Dell, unfortunately. So there was that. I mean, other points of emphasis would be for me like you said, RJ Harvey is one that I think will be someone that if we start hearing buzz right away, he's someone that's going to pick up some steam fast.
Yep.
So he's someone that I'm keeping my eyes on for best ball purposes for the moment because he's one of those names that could probably go from a 20th round guy to all of a sudden being a 14th round guy.
I think it's getting ready to start. I think it's already getting ready to start. I think it's getting ready to start, man. That's to the moon. Yeah.
And certainly, last but not least, Caleb Johnson, baby, because yeah, he was someone that, yeah, like, so he could be someone that, I know the offensive line, this, that, and the third, but I think offensively, like you just talked about, like whoever's going to be quarterback, like doesn't exactly matter because Pittsburgh likes to run the ball anyway. So he's someone that I could definitely, I'm not going to spend so much capital on, but someone that I know could definitely fall while everybody's talking about Jayden Warren, stuff like that. So, your final thoughts for the show?
Happy to be back on.
Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah. Other than that, man. Other than that, happy to be back, man. Happy to have another show, for sure. Obviously, I don't know. You got any dynasty drafts?
Nope. I'm waiting for invites though. If anyone wants to invite me to a decent league, sure. But okay. I'm not as popular as you.
Oh, stop. I got one May 5th, and then I got a couple other ones that it's funny because like all the dynasty teams that I have are absolutely shit. They're absolutely terrible. They're absolutely terrible.
Good thing you have a redraft, huh?
Yeah, I know, right? Good thing I have a redraft. But no, I'm looking forward to that, man. I think that's always a really good way to break the ice. So I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, man, like super excited about the Scott Fish Bowl and having the opportunity, to do that down in Boston. Obviously waiting for you, hoping you get your invite, man. I got a couple other buddies out there as well, man, hoping that they can get their invites as well, man. Again, a great cause, great situation, great people. That's actually how I met this guy here was, SFB 13. So hoping for the same thing, man. But yeah, man, it's official. We back, man. We back after this draft. And thanks for everybody that was tuning in and watched us today. And hopefully Shedeur Sanders becomes a Pittsburgh Steeler before round 7.
Golly, yo, this is terrible. Final thoughts for me goes as yes, we are. Get right back into the swing of things. Before you know it, it's gonna be summertime. Before you know it, it's gonna be Scott Fish Bowl time. Before you know it, it's going to be Fantasy Football Expo time. And before you know it, it's going to be the fantasy football season, the start of the NFL season. I think we'll look out for the schedule releases when they come out from the NFL. It's
May 14th.
Now it's like all of a sudden a holiday for people to look forward to. But other than that, just taking things one moment at a time in life too. So, hey, man, that being said, sure you don't got an old man rant in you, or no, you good?
Man, I feel like I have absolutely ranted. I mean, I'll probably make a video once the draft is over with, man, just to kind of recap the Steelers situation. But I mean, overall, like I think next year the draft is in Pittsburgh, so I'll go ahead and put that out there for me and you. Huh. So yeah. So but no other old man rants. Yeah, no other old man rants.
You come meet me down in Connecticut. We do a road trip.
Game, man. Game.
Shoot.
Game.
Woo.
Yeah, game.
That's not bad. Then we'll go to Philly, get a cheesesteak.
See, there you go. There you go. Oh, shoot.
All right, folks. Well, it's great being here with all y'all. We look forward to seeing you guys in the next show. Look out for the announcement on that. And until then, we out. Peace.